Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Saturday. It is free time. Because Arsenal is still not playing. FA Cup is happening, obviously. Not right now, but it happened today. Crystal Palace absolutely annihilated Fulham 3-0. They haven't conceded in 11 and a half hours, if not more. If not even 12 hours of the gameplay playing away, which is kind of nuts. Currently, it is break time at Brighton versus Nottingham Forest game. It is still 0-0, which is very interesting. I picked Nottingham Forest to win it, so we actually might get to that as well. But of course, today we're going to talk about Arsenal. Yesterday we had a fantastic stream regarding some of the most underrated ballers in the footballing world, starting from more or less in 2000s, 2010s, early ones. Basically the time when I was growing up on football, late 1990s, early 2000s and 2010s, the time when I was starting watching football and all that good stuff, of course. And yeah, one thing I realized kinda that even though it was a very fantastic stream, obviously it doesn't get the traction that Arsenal content gets, because the views, the likes and everything were more or less 2-3 times less than I usually get, which is understandable, but I absolutely love the content, so I absolutely love the stream anyways in general. But if I do some of this stuff in the future, I might do it as a separate video, because it might actually be more advantageous for me in terms of my channel and everything. So I'm gonna get to that and gonna explore those options. But no shadow of a doubt, yesterday the stream was very fun. But for today on the agenda, of course, Arsenal transfer rumors. We're gonna talk about Andrea Berta, and of course the dilemma Arsenal have regarding strikers, because out of nowhere, kinda, it feels that way, all of a sudden Arsenal are linked with 4 strikers at the same time, and none of them in a way look like they're gonna happen instantly. At the same time, it feels like we could sign any of them, which is kind of weird regarding Arsenal in general, and especially this summer due to the Club World Cup. Transfer window has been split in half in a way. It opens on July 1st, then it goes for 10 days, then it shuts down, then there's the Club World Cup. It's while the Club World Cup is happening, the transfer window is closed, and right after the Club World Cup ends, the transfer window opens once again. Hella weird. Why just not keep it open during the Club World Cup, as if anybody cares? Let's be real, as if anybody cares in that regard. But overall, yeah, it's a weird thing that's gonna happen this summer. In a way, it's another excuse for Arsenal board and Arsenal top gooners, basically, to say that we didn't sign someone because of the Club World Cup and the window was shut down. And if you think that is the reason, then you just are dumb. Let's be real. But anyways, if you haven't already, subscribe if you're new around here, smash the like button, because caress it, destroy it, annihilate it, however you want to do it, or even just tick it, point it, click it. It would be quite fantastic. And of course, leave your thoughts down in the live chat or in comments below if you're watching this as a playback. Big up Nathan. Nathan's already here. Yes, Sane scored 2 goals. Nope, I don't want Sane at Arsenal. First things first, Sane scored 2 goals today. Yes, but I don't think he is the guy as well still. Olise is not moving. Let's be real. We are not doing Football Manager here. Let's be real. Like, be realistic about this. Big up Nathan. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to say exhausted, but a bit drained in terms of everything, because lots of stuff is happening at the moment regarding everything, and kind of there was a bit of a doubt that even if this stream is gonna happen today or not. I'm just gonna say it as it is. But fine, I managed to basically figure things out, kind of schedule them as it needs to be done, so I can do it. I know it's 10 p.m. my time as I'm going live, but still on a certain level, I was still unsure if I will find enough time. But I kind of have, so I'm very happy about that. I'm happy that I managed to schedule everything around this, so it's kind of fantastic. Bayern want Van Bruggen to replace Neuer. Good for Bayern, genuinely. They're gonna get some proper ballers. Bruggen has been quite fantastic for Brighton this season in general. Very good signing for them. Brighton always have very good scouting, and they have figured out how to do things, how to sign gems and then buy them basically what it feels like for peanuts, and then sell them for 2, 3, 4 times bigger value. Currently, by the way, Brighton are playing in the FA Cup, and it is penalties. Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. So we're gonna have one eye on that as well, as we're talking about stuff regarding Arsenal, so see how that goes. Obviously, in today's first game, Crystal Palace annihilated Fulham 3-0. Edin Nketiah scored, and Edin Nketiah left Arsenal, by the way, and he is closer to winning a trophy than Arsenal have been this year whatsoever. As weird as it sounds, it's the case. Take it as you will, but hey, it is what it is. And the ironic fact about away games, interesting fact about Crystal Palace is that the last time Crystal Palace conceded away goal, right, was the time they played FA Cup against Arsenal when Jesus scored a hat trick. That was the last time they conceded an away goal. Absolute insaneness, if you ask me, in that regard. Verbruggen 60. He might move to Bayern for 60 million. That's about what, 54 million euros. That's actually, I don't want to say feels cheap, but it also doesn't feel too expensive. Let's be real, especially in these days, in today's economy, and regarding football in general, the money that's flying around kind of feels weird. I get it's a goalkeeper, and goalkeepers don't tend to go for an insane amount of money on very rare occasions only, but still feels kinda insane if you ask me. But let's talk about Arsenal. Enough about other teams. We are here to discuss Arsenal, and here we go. Gyökeres on the agenda. I know it's Sun, the most reliable source in the world, arguably. Lol. But Victor Gyökeres will be allowed to leave Sporting this summer, apparently, if a team offers a transfer fee in the region of 50 to 58.5 million pounds, which arguably feels like a no-brainer, does it, if you are Arsenal? Because Arsenal, and in general in football, Arsenal are willing to pay insane amount of money for mediocre players, for players that are nowhere near good enough to play for Arsenal, maybe even for some Premier League mid-table teams. And it feels like the 58 million price tag at worst for Gyökeres feels very cheap. I don't know if it sounds weird, but it feels very, very cheap. So I know he had a release clause of 97 million. Now it's, by the looks of things, it could be around 58. The big question is why it has nearly halved. That for me is the big question. Out of nowhere, 97 to bang to 50. It has nearly halved. So why it has been basically split the difference, why it has happened, that for me is the biggest reason why. Genuinely, that is the biggest reason why. And as Nathan is saying, yeah, I personally would want Osimhen instead of Gyökeres. Gyökeres obviously is the new flavor of the month, obviously new flavor of the season, let's be real. And even the last season, Arsenal wanted, not Arsenal fans, including myself, I'm not gonna lie, wanted Gyökeres, but the more I was watching Gyökeres, the more I was talking, the more I was looking into transfers, I'm not kid you not. I actually, when we were talking about this, I think it was in the summer, that my three were Osimhen, Gyökeres, and then Ivan Toney. Obviously, Osimhen went on loan to Galatasaray, Toney went to Saudi, and now we are only left with Gyökeres. Obviously, not, as Osimhen is coming back to Napoli, and Conte obviously much more prefers Lukaku in that spot. He is up kind of surplus to requirements, kinda, and they got rid of Kvaratskhelia as well. So his best mate in terms of scoring goals, because that duo was phenomenal in the attack, is kind of gone. So I think maybe as well that Osimhen might be available for a cheaper amount. And for me, if it is between Gyökeres and Osimhen, I would take Osimhen. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, whether it's gonna happen or not remains to be seen. But it doesn't stop there. As it says in the title, the striker dilemma, right, for Arsenal. It starts with Osimhen, right? With Gyökeres, but it doesn't stop there. Apparently, Arsenal have held preliminary talks with Hugo Ekitike as well to sign him. That for me is the biggest thing. And it also doesn't stop there. It's bad enough that we are linked with those two. It also goes here. Liverpool are prepared to break their transfer record to sign Alexander Isak. However, Joe Gomez, Konsa, Elliott, Doak could all be offered in a swap deal, obviously, to kind of sell everything down, because Liverpool desperately want a striker. And Arsenal have been linked, and Arsenal are kind of very interested in him. And again, it doesn't stop there, because we are still linked with Sesko. Sesko is still on the books. We are basically linked with 4 different strikers at the same time, even 5. There's Sesko, Gyökeres, Osimhen, Ekitike, and Isak. The 5 strikers at the same time. And I'm kind of confused what is happening here. Because for me personally, I would take only 2 of those. That for me is the big reasoning. Big questions. I would take only 2 of those. I wouldn't even take all of them or one of them. I would take only 2. One of them is obviously Osimhen, and the other one, for me, the question mark is being between Gyökeres and, ironically enough, what's its face, Ekitike to some extent. I know I'm not saying Isak, for example, but the way I see it is that Gyökeres and Osimhen fits the system we are playing right now. Isak, if you look at also how Newcastle play, they are hitting on a counter, they have open spaces, they have things they can do. So for me, the biggest question is, can he even fit Arsenal's system? Because we all want to say, yeah, we need Isak, he can do this, he can do that, and everything, but ultimately, he doesn't suit our system. Unless Mikel Arteta wants to change his system and revert basically back to 22-23 season, I don't see Isak working out. Because predominantly we hold possession and camp on the edge of opponent's box. And that is where Isak won't thrive. He will genuinely thrive. Gyökeres, I get it that he could, but again, he needs some open spaces to kind of use his space, use his strength and everything. So that's why for me, Osimhen kind of feels the safer option and the best option out of these three. Sesko I don't want whatsoever. And Ekitike, that one is the mystery one for me personally. Because also the biggest thing is, I don't see Mikel Arteta reverting back to the system we played 22-23 season. And to add on top of that as well, injuries for Isak is a big question mark. Not sure how about Gyökeres with the surgery he had, but obviously he avoids them on a more regular basis and everything. So there's lots of questions. And for me, Arsenal need to sign players we need right now. We need right now. We don't need project players. We don't need phase 5, phase 1, phase 2 players. We need phase 7 players. We need players who are ready to win now. And for me, that is the biggest question. We are linked with 5 strikers at the same time right now, and we are not even in June. We are 2.5 months away from June, right? So the big question is, who are we gonna sign and how are we gonna sign? And with Andrea Berta coming in, he will have lots of things to do. He has generally the weight of Arsenal on his shoulders quite heavily, because he will need to get rid of players, he will need to sign players, there will be lots of players we're gonna get linked to. Who we gonna sign? Let's be real, nobody has any clue besides the clubs that will be involved in negotiations. There will be lots of speculations, and for me, we're gonna just sit here and we're gonna talk about these rumors and just speculate at the end of the day. There's nothing true about this anyways, because it's very easy to gain traction regarding transfer rumors. If a player wants a new contract, if a player wants an extension, if he wants a bigger move, throw Arsenal's name in there. Because first things first, everyone knows that Arsenal needs a striker. It's not a well-kept secret. Even Stevie Wonder, who is blind, knows we need a striker. And that will be one of the biggest things. And we saw how Sesko used it last year for get a contract extension, bigger release clauses, guaranteed more game time and everything. So that for me is the big question, how we will go about that. Hugo Ekitike, the future Henry, don't do this. Martial was the next Henry. We have seen how that has gone. Let's be real. Sells, what the performance, you want to tell me that Nottingham Forest won? Yeah, Nottingham Forest won. Wait, let me check what happened in the penalty shootout. Penalty shootout. Sells saved 2 penalties. Wow. Self saved 2 penalties. That is actually kind of nuts. You were asking, and Marlon is asking about Real Madrid game. Real Madrid game, 13 minutes in, still 0-0. Leganes at Santiago Bernabeu, still playing. Still 0-0. The starting 11 for Real Madrid, Lunin is starting. Obviously, Diaz is starting, Goulet is starting. So quite a few players I would love to see at Arsenal, I'm not gonna lie. So it is what it is. Monaco are playing. Is Mika Biereth starting? Mika Biereth missed a penalty in the 4th minute. Oh my god, he missed a penalty in the 4th minute. How has that worked out? But he's starting, that is the good thing. But Mika Biereth already has missed a penalty. That's one thing you can take away from that. That is the case. I get that. Injuries with Isak is a big question mark, especially about the fact that players at Arsenal get injured more often than it feels like for other teams. More specifically, it's usually the hamstring, muscle injuries and everything. And we have already quite a few injury-prone players. And to add on top of that, we tend to make players that are not injury-prone, we tend to make them injury-prone. And with Isak, it's a big liability, because Tomiyasu was injury-prone before we signed him. Calafiori had many injuries before we signed him. We signed them both, and we have seen how that has gone. That is also a big question mark. For Marlon, top 3 strikers: Osimhen, Jonathan David and Retsegi. Retsegi is an interesting one. Osimhen is available for free. For me personally, David is not the main guy. He can be a backup since we can sign him on free as the secondary striker. I would not mind that personally, right? But given the situation that we still have Havertz here and everything, I think Arsenal will focus on signing only one striker. And I generally pray it's a starting striker who is guaranteed a starter role instead of Havertz. That is one thing I'm definitely gonna pray. Top 3 wingers, Desiree Doué, Nico Williams, and Rodrigo. Top 3 center mids, O'Reilly, Vitinha, and Baleb. Interestingly, you don't have Wharton in there. No Wharton, because Wharton was weird today. He nearly got a red card, but he still did good. Nathan wants Osimhen, Gyökeres, or... Why do you have Sesko in the number 3? That, for me, is the big question. Of all the players we can sign, all the strikers we have been linked with even, not just linked with right now, in the last few weeks, months, why is Sesko in the mix? That, for me, is the big question for you, Nathan. Why? Yeah, Mika Biereth missed penalty. That is weird. That is weird. For reason he... Yeah, well, Jonathan David is very good for Lille and everything and all that stuff. He's very decent for Canada as well. But for me, for Arsenal to put him up top in a title-charging season, if we're even gonna have that next season, God, who knows. Not too sure. I'm generally still not too sure. And for me, we need someone even more bigger established. So that's why I want someone like Osimhen or Gyökeres up top. And then we can get, for example, Jonathan David as the backup, as the secondary striker. Because, let's be real, if David is a secondary or even striker, if he is that good, he will fight tooth and nail to get the starting role. He will get some proper game time. And it would be quite amazing for Arsenal, actually, for a change after all these years as an Arsenal fan to have two proper strikers up top, and not have some makeshift Trossards or Havertz up top that basically when they get the ball in a position where a striker scores 9 out of 10 times, you close your eyes, look through your fingers and pray for the best. That is the biggest thing. I take Seško over Vlahovic, Lautaro and Jonathan David, even over Retsegi. Seško still has potential, at least compared to others. So I would say Retsegi still has potential. That I'm gonna sell right, in my opinion, at least now. Jonathan David is the one that we can sign on free, and that for me makes a lot of sense for the secondary option. Especially given the fact that any striker we're gonna sign is gonna cost 60 to 70 million. Something in that region, right? And for me, it's a big money wasting if we go for 2. Even though, this will sound weird, but for example, if we go for Isak, right? 140, 150 million, I much rather sign, for example, Osimhen for 70 and then spend the rest of the 70, 80 on signing someone else, for example, Ederson, or signing even Zubimendi if Arsenal want him that badly, right? Which I personally don't want. That is for the biggest thing. For me, Arsenal, if I was in Arsenal shoes, I much rather would sign 2-3 players for price of 1. And I've always been a very big person on this statement. It's not how much money you spend, it's how you spend it. And for example, spending money wisely is something Arsenal haven't done in, feels like, ages. And with Andrea Berta coming in, I have this hope that we actually would be more wise and we would spend money more wisely. And that's why for me this Isak situation is a bit of a question mark. Because even though we are linked with him, 150 million, I don't think it would be the right move. I generally don't think it would be the right move. First bring in assistant coach who can attack. We don't even need assistant coach. Let's be real. Erpod Albert is actually doing a very good job. He has more managing experience than Mikel Arteta, let's be real. But we need attack. That is the biggest thing. And even if we sign as anyone from the list we have talked about, even if we sign even if we sign Ekitike, Gyökeres, Osimhen, Isak, Sesko, Lautaro, whoever, right? It all still goes down to Mikel Arteta to coach him, to coach the system, to coach everything. And I hate that I have to look at this and say, it depends on Mikel Arteta. Because to some extent, we should be signing players and adjust the system to fit the players, to elevate their strengths and hide their weaknesses. Not just do the things where we buy players to fit the system. And we have never seen Mikel Arteta coach actually a proper striker, let's be real. Because the one he had, he absolutely annihilated, and after that he went on winning things in Aubameyang, Lacazette and stuff like that. So for me, the biggest thing is, does Mikel Arteta even know how to coach a striker? Because he hasn't signed one, a proper striker, he hasn't coached one, and even when he was at the Man City, they didn't have an out-and-out proper striker. They had Jesus, sometimes Grealish played there, sometimes Sterling played there, you could argue Aguero maybe, but still. And yeah, once Mikel Arteta left, Man City signed a striker in Haaland, and he is the striker we actually funded by buying Jesus and Zinchenko overall for 80 million from them. So that basically funded them signing Haaland, and that obviously the rest is history afterwards. But we have never seen Mikel Arteta coach a striker, and that is another thing that I kind of feel like many people are not putting into equation in terms of Arsenal signing a striker. But you can see that even that will be a bit of, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and contradict myself here, but you can see that the chances we tend to create at times, if we had a proper striker in that position, we actually would have scored. And that for me is the big thing. Maybe it actually would work instantly. We never know, let's be real. And I've also been very adamant and very strong on opinion, at least that's how I see it. Per se, Arsenal don't need world-class high-end level striker. Even though we need world-class players, right, in specific positions, even though we need a very good striker, in a way we don't need a world-class level striker. We need a striker who can just finish on a consistent basis, in a way, because given the chances we create and the players we have played as a striker, like Jesus, Havertz, Trossard, and Merino even, and the chances they miss, you cannot help but wonder. But for example, a player like Ivan Toney, player like Dovbyk and stuff like that, they would have put them away, and they are not world-class top tier strikers. So in a way you could actually make an argument that we don't need like top class striker. We just need a proper poacher, proper finisher, who when he gets a chance, 1-2 touches, bang, goal. That's it. Let's be real. But hey, it's just weird opinion. Nathan for wingers, Barcola, Gordon, Rafinha, wish for Rodrigo. We are not getting Rafinha. That's, I'm telling you that much already. Barcola is not the one for me. Everyone's glazing Barcola. I don't get it. Just the same as everyone's glazing some other players. It's very weird. Yeah, Semenyo, I wouldn't mind that. He's Premier League proven. Buemo as well. Buemo also would be quite fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. That also would be quite amazing one. I don't know why Buemo is not on many players' lists. This is what y'all said is a world-class, highest, biggest meme of social media with his strange content. Yeah, that is also the big thing. Dude, if you say one more stupid thing like that, I kid you not, I will time you out. If you're gonna say that Barcola is the new Ronaldinho, that definitely deserves a timeout. I can tolerate lots of things, but saying stuff like this is unacceptable. That's like people saying Eddie Nketiah is prime R9 and stuff like that. Odegaard is the next Kakao or something. Some of those things don't fly. Those things don't fly. Genuinely with me, those things don't fly. Did Ekitike play for Frankfurt today? Ooh, I haven't checked actually. Let's see. Real Madrid still 0-0. Monaco still haven't scored, and Roma as well. Eintracht won 1-0, and Götze scored. Oh, Mario Götze, what a baller. Ekitike played today. Yes, he did play today. He didn't score. Ekitike played today. 100% confirmed. He played. Bruno Agume midfield signings. Bruno who? Guimaraes? Right? Bruno Guimaraes I wouldn't mind signing 100%. 100% I would love to sign Bruno Guimaraes at Arsenal. Put him in the 6 and just let him chill there. Wow, fantastic. Especially since he would definitely massively improve our lack of creativity from the midfield. Because as much as we say Odegaard is bad, he's useless, He wasn't that bad 2 years ago, so there's definitely something about Mikel Arteta's system that has absolutely annihilated him, right? He is not as bad as he's performing on the pitch. I'm just gonna say it right now. As much as I want, for example, I don't think Odegaard is the guy who can pull the main strings. He needs help, and he can be a backup to that player. He's not playing as good as he is. Let's just say it as it is, right? But Bruno Guimaraes would be massive help from creative part, because we have no creative 8s and no creative 6s whatsoever. Partey is the closest one because he's mix of everything, so he can do these things. But besides that, not about it. Rice cannot do that. Jorginho can, but let's be real. Merino, don't make me laugh, and so there's nothing. So we need someone like that. Ekitike played, Götze carried pretty much, yeah, but Götze as well, man. What a player. What could have been, basically. What could have been. What could have been. But yeah, 4 or 5 strikers, it's actually kind of nuts. It is actually kind of nuts. Now, moving a bit on, Ekitike, obviously, Liverpool will rival Arsenal, so Liverpool are basically going for the same strikers as Arsenal in a way, what it feels like, for Isak and Ekitike. It could be a battle in that regard. But yeah, some news regarding Andrea Berta. Basically, Andrea Berta is expected to arrive in the UK before the start of next week. So basically, he should be arriving in the UK today or tomorrow, as Arsenal prepare to confirm his appointment as their new sporting director. And there's also hope that he will be present for the game against Fulham on Tuesday. That comes out from Sag Mogbel, who is genuinely, I won't say very unreliable, but he is unreliable many times. So this is also a hope that Andrea Berta would be here already, and he could watch the games and see what we need desperately. That is something I would want to see quite heavily, because it's one thing if he flew in June, right, and he instantly just basically had to make a list, but he actually gets few months to see how we are playing, who how plays, who needs to go, who needs to stay, and how we can improve and who we can replace them with. And if he gets that time, I would be quite happy about that. Very, very heavily happy about that. And let's be real, there is no question in my mind that there will be discussions and disagreements in the hierarchy between Mikel Arteta and Andrea Berta. And Andrea Berta is not a yes man, so he won't take any shit as well. Bruno Guimaraes in the 8, Rice and Agume sharing the 6. I can see that. I can see that. The thing is about Declan Rice is, right, Declan Rice is not a number 8. And as weird as this will sound, he is not actually a number 6 as well. Declan Rice, best option for Declan Rice is playing in a double pivot. That is the best thing for him. The issue about that is we don't play like that. He pushes up quite heavily and he plays like box to box, bombing up and down the field, and it's kind of, I would say, handcuffing his abilities. Let's just say it that way. It's not allowing him to express himself fully. That for me is a big issue. If we play, let's just say 4-2-3-1, right, Declan Rice would be quite phenomenal. The issue with that is, though, Martin Odegaard is not out and out number 10, is he? And he already drops deep into 8 role and drifts out wide to get the ball and to distribute the ball, which means why are we still not trying Martin Odegaard as a number 8? That for me is one of the big question marks. Similar like Zinchenko playing in the midfield, right? Other question for me is why we are not playing, let's just say, Partey as a 6, Odegaard as an 8, and then putting someone in the 10, like even Wanyeri, let's just say put him in the 10 or some and Saka on the right or something like that. That for me is also the biggest question mark. Why we are not trying out Rice in a double pivot and or Odegaard in the 8. And so on top of that, once Saka comes back, let's be real. And this could be controversial. Let me know, do you agree with me or not? Once Saka comes back, because it looks like it's inevitable these days, right? I would not drop Ethan Wanyeri. I would put Wanyeri on the left potentially. Although Wanyeri really loves cutting in on his left foot and finessing at far corner, but I definitely would explore some sort of an option like that. Because Wanyeri is in a very good form, and he is too good, kinda, to basically be put on the bench and let marinate bench once Saka is back again. So that for me is the big question mark. How Arteta will manage that as well. Because for me, whether you like it or not, Wanjeri has to play. If Saka comes back, nobody's gonna replace him. So Saka is gonna be right wing. I wouldn't mind exploring Wanjeri as a number 10, as a left wing, and this will sound weird, but maybe as a number 9. Arteta has said that he envisions Wanjeri as a number 9 in few years. So I would not be surprised in that if we will see him at some point in a number 9 role. It wouldn't be surprised to me. But in perfect world, Saka on the right, Wanjeri in the 10, Odegaard in the 8, Rice or Partey in the 6. For me, it makes a lot of sense. Yes, Odegaard runs, he drops deep for the ball already as a 10, so that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, that will ruin in a way the combinations between with Odegaard and Saka, but maybe we need that. We need that because these days we are so predictable in the attack that everyone knows where to focus their defensive attention to, and it's to the right. And if we kind of disrupt that ourselves, we keep our opponents guessing, and they will also be left in the dark without knowing how to defend now. Because it's one thing when you know from where all the threat is coming from. It's a completely different story when you basically disrupt the pattern, disrupt the predictability yourself, and then you basically throw up in the air and see what happens. And it feels like sometimes Arsenal need to do that. We are very predictable, very common, and it feels like also players are very comfortable in their positions where they are playing and even in the club. So in my opinion, we definitely should mix things up. We should change the positions. We should change the players where they play. Yes, for example, I bang on about how Partey plays right back, but this is not the case. For me, Odegaard, we should try him as an 8. Put Wanjeri in the 10, Saka on the right once he comes back. Test these things out. Because that not only will disrupt the routine from us in the attack, but that also will disrupt the system how opponents are gonna play. Because every time we watch this, everyone focuses on the right. Shut down Odegaard, Saka, we are useless. But if we disrupt this ourselves and we find other ways how to create attack, move the ball and everything, it will throw massive spanner in opposing sides' defensive plans. And that definitely could do a massively very good trick for Arsenal. But obviously, given that we have Arteta and he's very stubborn in that regard, he wants that right side be Saka and Odegaard and everything. Not too sure we're ever gonna see that. Like, that is the biggest thing for me. Did you watch Different Knock when he said that Nelly should have been turned as striker? That is nothing new. Let's be real. When we just signed Martinelli under Unai Emery, he was playing as a number 9. And I have been saying this also for the longest time that we should explore Martinelli as a 9. Why we are not doing that is also a big question mark. We haven't done that almost whatsoever. He even plays for Brazil sometimes as a number 9. He does that for Brazil, and he doesn't do that for Arsenal. So, it's nothing new, it's nothing special, it's nothing that we haven't discussed before, and it's nothing that hasn't been talked about before. That as well is the case. But obviously, it all falls on Arteta. And given the fact that he doesn't want to change, he is very stubborn in that regard, his way or the highway, and he changes only when basically he gets PTSD from something like he did 2 years ago when we went from attacking to control. Now we have gone controlling defense, and it's like, it's nuts, let's just put it that way. Prime West Ham, Rice will be back with that. Like, I don't want to be Prime West Ham, but in the double pivot, I think Rice would be very, very good. Very, very good. Play Wanjeri in the 10. Yeah, I guess Wanjeri is very direct, very good shot. Imagine he is 17 and you can argue he already has a trademark finish. Cut inside on the left, take some 2-3 touches and bang it far corner. It's similar like Arjen Robben. His trademark move, run down the right side, cut in, 3-4 touches, bang. I'm not saying Issa Wanjeri is Arjen Robben, but he does the same thing more or less. And that is already at 17 his trademark move. And we should look away, since it is working, explore that option to some extent. As a 10 as well, he would have the potential to drive, to attack, to dribble, which is something he loves. You can see still that in him. That is something we are missing desperately from this squad. So him dribbling and running through the midfield, running through the defenders and everything, would give us fouls, would give us free kick opportunities, would give us dangerous positions and situations. And yeah, but you know, we all know that Arteta is never gonna play Odegaard and Nate and Ranieri in the 10. Let's be real, because when Odegaard was injured, Ranieri never saw the 10 spot. Let's be real. And the new stuff. What happens to signing? I don't. Molero, we are not signing. I don't think we are signing. I think it was just a yellow page story. I genuinely believe it was just a yellow page story and we are not signing him. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. I think it is what it is. And even for, if we look at Las Palmas, Molero isn't even their best winger, number 10, in my opinion. There is someone better. That is also the case. Now, quick look at how things... Oh, Marlon, you seeing this? 1-1. Leganes just scored. Leganes just scored. 1-1 Real Madrid. And for Real Madrid, Mbappe scored a penalty. 2 minutes later, Garcia scores 1-1. Interesting. By the way, Leganes is the same team that beat Barcelona or Atletico Madrid 1-0. I think it was Atletico Madrid. I think it was Atletico Madrid who they beat 1-0, right? If I'm not mistaken. So they know how to annoy these Madrid teams. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Well, you say that, but we cannot... I'm not gonna talk about referees. Yes, there are some narratives of VAR, Madrid and everything. But no. I've seen so many calls being called against Real Madrid which are blatantly obvious that there is some rigging going on, what it feels like, that I'm not daring to do that. That is Marlon, that is number 10 / right wing from UD Las Palmas. If you want to see, you can look at him. He's 20 something, 21, 22, something like that. 21, he's 21. 26 games, 5 goals. He plays number 10 on both wings, if you want, and everything. So, yeah, but he is also not it. If we talk about Las Palmas, he grew up in Las Palmas Academy, by the way, as well. So he's their own product. If we want to talk about Las Palmas, right? For me, the best player we could sign from the attack is, if I actually can find him. If he's even here, I don't see him. There is one guy who is actually very, very good. But it's not Molero. I'm not gonna lie, it is not Molero. It's someone else. Obviously, Bajcetic will be interesting to see once he comes back from to Liverpool. It will be interesting whether they use him or not. But there is Benito Ramirez. I forgot who he is. It might be Villarreal. Ilias. I think he plays for Villarreal. It's Ilias. Ilias is fantastic to watch when he plays. What the hell is happening? I need to reinstall Windows in my computer. Genuinely, I have caught something on my computer. My mouse is generally I click once, sometimes it doesn't register. I click another time, and then it opens like 5 tabs or something, and it really starts to piss me off. In Champions League, you could say that, but hey, it is what it is. If we basically, I'm not big on referees. Yes, there are pathetic, embarrassing decisions, calls, and everything. But ultimately, you play the game, and you should be able to win no matter what. And if you are basically blaming referees because you draw to Fulham or Southampton, or you lost to Fulham, or you lost or drew against Brighton, and you didn't take your own chances, it's your own fault. Because how the referee is ruining you and stopping you from scoring one-on-ones, missing empty nets and creating chances, especially if it happens early in the game, you still have bloody 70 minutes to do something. Like, it's a myth. We all know that referees are crap, let's be real. We all know that, but hey. I know, but that it's the same as UEFA Lona and everything, let's be real. 4-3-3 invertible. Like, exactly, for me the double pivot for Arsenal makes lot more sense, because when we play double pivot, it would give back Rice the ability that has been taken away from him, in my opinion. At West Ham in the double pivot, he was fantastic. Now we are utilizing him in a completely different role, arguably, and it has taken away from him quite a bit. And you don't see Rice doing the same things he did at West Ham. Obviously, completely different styles, teams, and everything, how we play. But we definitely have lost some part of Rice. Yes, he has excelled at other things, but the things that made Declan Rice who he is and why they won the Conference League, right? It's not the same. Let's just put it that way. go back against Real in the 222-23 football. The biggest issue is against Real Madrid. Yes, they have defensive issues, but if we go in a basically a pissing contest against Real Madrid in attacks, we gonna get run over like with a bulldozer, because their attack is 10 times more quality than ours. Let's be real. You look at Real Madrid, they gonna put out Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrigo. If those bans and everything don't happen. I don't know, that's stupidest things I have read so far, but we'll see how that goes, right? But they're gonna put out Vini, Mbappe, Rodrigo. Arsenal are gonna put out, most likely, Bukayo Saka, maybe, Merino as a number 9, and Martinelli or Trossard on the left wing. Like, make it make sense. Like, come on, man. That already feels very, very defeat mentally. According to Ben Jacobs, which not too sure what to make of it, because as well, as good as he is, he also tends to get stuff quite desperately wrong. Let's just put it that way. Arsenal are quite advanced in their bid to sign Martin Zubimendi. Personal terms have already been agreed between the two parties. For me, the biggest thing about Zubimendi is its release clauses. What's there to be advanced? What's there to be talked about? Especially when some Mokbel and all these morons come out in January, February, say Zubimendi is joining Arsenal in summer and all this stuff. It's release clauses, man. You pay the money, he comes instantly. Pause. Not like that, get what I mean. He comes to the club they paid for him instantly. It's release clauses, you know? It's not like you have to discuss deals and everything, especially the personal terms being agreed upon. You pay the release clauses, the player goes to your club. That's it. There is no middle stuff going on, like everything. But all of a sudden, few months pass. Oh, Liverpool want him. Real Madrid want him. There's nothing agreed upon. Arsenal are interested. Advanced talks, on fire, personal terms, and all this stuff. All of a sudden comes out. All of a sudden. Like, come on, make it make sense. Stop bullshitting and gaslighting every fan. And have you noticed that these things also predominantly come out when we are in deep shit? When we have lost a game, drawn a game, somebody's hella injured, and all this stuff. Ben Jacobs is better than yeah, in that regard, than Mokbelend and everything. He is better than Kappa Watt, Sammy Mokbelend, and all this stuff. I don't even trust David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano these days. I don't trust them. Yes, they put stuff out. Yes, I talk about it, but I don't take it as a gospel like most fans do these days. I'm not gonna lie. What do you mean, why for that? What do you mean? He comes? You get what I mean. Berta just needs to slap some sense in the... Yeah, but let's be real. Berta has dealt with Simeone for 12 years. He eats guys like Mikel Arteta as snacks for breakfast. No salt, no pepper, plain snacks. Yeah, Kappa Watts. He is cupping a lot these days. Kappa Watts. Kappa Watts. Oh, dude, Trincao would be quite intense to Arsenal. I actually wouldn't mind signing Trincao at Arsenal, I'm not gonna lie. Trincao would be quite amazing, in my opinion, to sign. Obviously, his time at Barcelona was short-lived, it didn't work out. At Sporting Lisbon, he's doing much better, let's be real. So I wouldn't be against that as well. I wouldn't genuinely be from that as well. Berta eats Mikel as pre-workout, yeah. No foreplay, no nothing. No warming up, straight in. By the way, who released that? Was it Ben Jacobs? Or was it Watts? It was Charles Watts. Kappa Watts, Arteta Revolution. Anyone has read this book? By the way, just curious. Out of nowhere, we mentioned Kappa Watts, Arteta's Revolution. Everyone has read this book? Anyone? Anyone has bought it for Christmas? And everything? Anyone? Just quickly. Anyone has read it? Seen it? Anything? Oh my goodness gracious. By the way, look at this. Look at this. $28, you know. $28 for this. $28 for this book. That's what, $28 going the exchange rate, about 20 euro, 22, 20, no, 23 euros, something like that. 23 euros, 19 pounds. 19 pounds, you know. 20 pounds for this book, pretty much. 20 pounds. 20 bloody pounds for this book. Anyone has it? Anyone has it? Just a quick question. Does anyone have this book? Wait, let's see. Dollars to pounds. 28. Yo, 22 pounds. That's 22 pounds for the goddamn book. 22 pounds. By the way, Leganes are beating Real Madrid at Bernabeu 2-1, you know. Just following that along as we go. That is kind of nuts as well. Kappa Watts. I know. Kappa Watts. Arteta's revolution. Conceição struggling at Juve. Ooh, I was so impressed with him. It might be just Thiago Motta. Obviously, he got sacked. Igor Tudor is now the manager. Today they played against Genoa. I think they won 1-0, didn't they? Where is it? Yeah, they won 1-0. Vlahovic scored. I forgot who scored already. Yildiz scored. Never mind. Vlahovic assisted. Conceição came on in 66 minutes and everything. So, hey, it is what it is, I guess. But, you know, Conceição, he was such a good talent. What happened to it? Well, I can't say that, to be honest. I think it's the manager switch and the tactics that Motta used. I think he will need some time to get adjusted to Tudor's tactics. So time will tell. Killing trees for basically. Well, Arteta, a rookie that embarrasses Arsenal. Look at the second page. Fan revolt. Wait. Wait. Second page, fan revolt. Where? Where do you see it? Fan revolt. What the hell? 304 pages, you know. 304 pages. Holy crap. English, HarperCollins, December, Dimensions. Where is fan revolt? Wait. Oh, including bust-ups, COVID, disappointments, FA Cup. FA Cup wins. From cutting his teeth as an assistant under Pep Guardiola before joining Arsenal in the winter of 2019, through to title contenders years later, including bust-ups, COVID, FA Cup wins. He has won one FA Cup, you know, and that was 5.5 years ago. How many cups has he won? What the hell is that? Cup wins. Multiple. What the hell? Does he include community shields in that or what? FA Cup wins. I'm gonna make a tweet of this today. FA Cup wins. I'm gonna favorite this and I'm gonna make a tweet of this. FA Cup wins. And eventually the rise... Wait. And eventually, the rise of an extraordinary young team standing on the edge of greatness. This book will be the first of its kind to explore the workings of Arteta's philosophy and how he transformed the club from outsiders to title challengers. Whoa. 22 pounds, by the way. What chapters on his tactical innovations, you know? Tactical innovations. In-game strategies. What? Cross the ball from the corner or pass it to Bukayo and pray for the best? Transfer insight. What transfer insight? Buy high, let go for free? Or what? An account of the memorable 22-23 season. Evolution is the story of an extraordinary football ascent in the first draft of Arsenal's new history. Dude, it's basically in-game strategies and is basically, as Pepper is saying, genuinely as Pepper is saying, Bukayo and Inshallah, basically, that's what it is. Tactical innovations, you know? What, playing number 6s as right backs and number 8s as striker, that's the tactical innovation or what? But this is the best one. FA Cup wins. He barely won that one FA Cup, and that's alone only thanks to Aubameyang. And now he has multiple FA Cup wins, apparently. What the hell is that? Holy crap, on a cracker. What the hell? FA Cup wins, you know. Multiple, plural, and all this stuff. Holy crap. Yeah, Leganes are 2-1 up against Real Madrid. You know Fulham rested players for our game. Basically, yeah. And you know they're gonna do good against us as well. Conceição needs to be looking his far for cooking. Including bust-ups. Let's go. Name 5 managers better than Mikel Arteta. Oh, that is easy. Unai Emery, Pep Guardiola, Inzaghi, Simeone, Ancelotti. You could argue Xabi Alonso, Allegri, Conte, Ranieri. There are lots of those. FA Cup wins, exactly, Pirlo. Like, that's the best part. 1 Pep, Klopp, Tuchel, Zidane. It's endless. Maybe he means individual FA Cup matches. Maybe, just maybe. Or maybe he counts the FA Cup wins as a player or something. Who knows? Maybe. Anyways, back to the deals at hand. Šeško, we talked about this. It's no secret that Arsenal want a secondary goalkeeper. Karl Hein, by the way, is injured at the moment. He didn't play today for Real Valladolid, and he has been listed as with shoulder injury. So take that as you want. But ultimately, apparently, Arsenal obviously still are interested in Juan Garcia from Espanyol. But the thing is, apparently they have spoken to his agent, and agent says we are in talks with up to 10 clubs. Bless me. 10 clubs, you know. From what I have heard, only Arsenal and Atletico Madrid are interested in Juan Garcia. Where are the rest of the 8, by the way? Where are the rest of the 8 clubs? I've seen only 2. What is this cap? That's actually kind of nuts. And this one. Man City have entered the race for 60 million euro rated Frankfurt midfielder Hugo Larsson. He's actually very decent, I'm not gonna lie, he's actually very decent. I'm gonna say that right now. And apparently Arsenal are still interested in him. Funny enough, haven't heard Arsenal being linked with Hugo Larsson for a month and a half, but we are still linked with him apparently. Arsenal fans obviously are basically jizzing all over the place, no pause, literally, because there have been photos shot on Google Pixel and all this crap. That Bukayo Saka right there, you see the arrow, that's for all the blind people, right? He is right there training with the team on the grass with the players. As it says, Buka is back on the grass plus train with the group today. Everyone's all over the place. Woohoo! But it looks like he's edging back, and Arsenal want Juan Garcia to be the number 2 to David Raya, and he is open to the move. We have heard that a lot, haven't it? Open to a move. Same with Zubimendi, same with Sesko, same with, well, Benzema, Jose Mouar, Young Villa, and all these guys we have never signed. Let's be real. But yeah, that's according to the Athletic. Nothing new here, just interested in everything. But it is what it is. And that is, yeah, tonight, Ultra Miami, 7 a.m. my time. Hardwell is on the stage. Definitely gonna watch it. That is the random one for today. But yeah, it's actually kind of insane to say the least. I'm not gonna lie. That Kappa Watts, I'm still kind of get over the fact that multiple FA Cup wins. That is... why are we signing? Because we don't have a second goalkeeper. Because Nygaard plays for under 16s, so he's not gonna go with the main squad to sit on the bench. Second one is Setford. He plays for under 21, so he's not gonna sit on the bench all the time. Neto is on loan. Hein, God knows what's gonna happen with him. So we need a second goalkeeper. That basically is the... Yeah, we have Karl Hein, but he wants to play. He at the moment has played. Arguably he has had a somewhat decent season for Real Valladolid. Yes, he has conceded a lot. In 28 games, he has 5 clean sheets and all this stuff. He has been quite decent to some extent for a team that's basically getting relegated back down. But I don't think Arteta wants him. That is the biggest thing. Arteta doesn't want him. Plus, he's injured right now, so that will be very interesting. Setford plays for under 20s. He's not going to sit on the bench randomly for Arsenal, because he needs to play for under 20s, which means he cannot go with Arsenal to Champions League, to cup games and everything. So that is the big thing. Frankfurt coach. Oh, Joptik. Misspelled it a bit. Dino Topmoller. Holy crap, what a name. Dino Nicolas Topmoller. 1980, he's 45. As a German football manager and former player, he's the head coach of Bundesliga club Eintracht Frankfurt. Interesting. What he has... Eintracht Frankfurt manager, so for fuck's sake. Where is Dino Topmoller? That is the big thing. Why it went even on Wikipedia? Here it is. Dino Topmoller. Dino Topmoller. Here it is. Last club, Bayern Munich. Whoa! Look how many Bayern Munich people they have. Stefan, Zombrot. Anyways, look what he has won. Holy crap. 44 years old. His contract is till 2026, by the way. Very good coach, by the way. Very nice attacking football Frankfurt play. Very nice. Yeah, Agume is a better project signing than Larson. If we want to sign a project signing, I prefer Agume over Larson. That's 100%. Larson is injury prone. That is also a case. This is just going to unsell, right? Could be. Definitely could be. Let's be real. Definitely. It could be another Ramsdale Raya situation all over again. Dude, FIFA, you know. FIFA and all that, dude. In FIFA, I can make 64 rated player look like world-class player. They're just putting it out there. He's better than Arteta. Hire him now. Wait, let's look what he has won. I'm quite interested now that you mentioned it. He's been... he plays 3-4-2-1. Well, that is kind of interesting. In Bundesliga. Look at his resume, by the way. He started up coaching smaller teams from the... Of the little teams, basically, right? From the smaller leagues, from the regional leagues. Assistant manager for Julian Nagelsmann at RB Leipzig for 50 games. Then he goes to Bayern Munich, and again, assistant for Nagelsmann, 84 games. And now he's the main coach at Eintracht Frankfurt. 86 games played. 39 wins, 23 draws, 24 losses. Plays very quite attacking football. But he has won shitloads, I'm not gonna lie. He has won shitloads, to say the least. Raya will stay for... I think so. He's, what, 27, 28? So he will definitely stay for, some time. I was thinking of different scenarios of different teams winning the FA Cup. Dude, I know Edin Ketia left Arsenal to win a trophy. Imagine the headlines. He left Arsenal to win trophies. No, he left Arsenal to go to Palace, and Palace are in a better situation to win trophies this year than Arsenal. It's embarrassing for Arteta, whoever wins the FA Cup, but imagine if Palace win. Exactly. Especially after we destroyed them in Carabao Cup. Look at Xhaka too. He left Arsenal after the first good season he had probably at Arsenal. And Arsenal had a phenomenal season, 22-23 season in a way, right? He went away instantly. Went invincible and could have won a baby treble. Won Bundesliga, Deutsche Pokal, and went to the final in Europa League. Got annihilated by Atalanta, Lookman 3 goals, hat-trick and everything, but still invincible and won 2 trophies instantly first season. Like, the hell is that? Personally, I want Palace to win. I'm not gonna lie, I want as well. From all the teams that are left in it, I want Palace. Maybe Forest. Forest are my second team, but I definitely would like for Palace to win it. And then they actually start. Yeah, Eddie is actually scoring for Palace all of a sudden. He scored that 1 goal against Arsenal in the cup, right? In Carabao Cup. And all of a sudden he starts slowly but steadily scoring some goals. Yeah, they need to get past Villa first. They need to beat Villa at home first. Well, no, Preston is at home against Villa. They need to do that first. Your defense in trouble with Nketiah in the room. Holy crap. I hope Forest... I totally get that. I totally respect that as well. That actually would be kind of insane as well if Forest or Pepper... or Pepper. Holy crap, I'm reading Preston and I'm saying Pepper. If Forest or Palace or Preston win it, it's actually kind of nuts. Deepdale is hard place to go. Well, yeah, they might find it hard, definitely. They might, but we'll see. We'll see, definitely we'll see. Obviously, Unai Emery is a cup coach, so we cannot definitely put that past him at all. Let's be real. We definitely cannot put that past him. What is happening here? Real Madrid are losing 2-1. Holy crap. 2-1. They have Lunin in goal as well. No wonder they're losing. Lunin in goal. To be honest, listen to this. I'm actually gonna show you this. Right? Look at this. This is the Real Madrid lineup, right? Lunin, Vasquez, Asensio, Rudiger, Garcia, Camavinga, Modric, Goulet, Bellingham, Diaz, and Mbappe, right? Look at Real Madrid's bench. Alaba, Vinicius, Valverde, Rodrigo, Tchouaméni, Endrick, Vallejo, Fran Gonzalez, Mestre, and Aguado. These players, Alaba, Vinicius, Valverde, now that's what you call a bench, you know? That's what you actually call a bench. That bench generally strikes fear into me, knowing that we will have to face it in 10 days. That is actually kind of insane, if you ask me. That bench is just... If I won an FA Cup, that would be really embarrassing. To be honest, if Palace win or something like that, it would be kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie. It would be kind of insane. We could have at least got them kept Beer. Yeah, we could have. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's not happening. He missed a penalty. Is it still 1-0 to... Yeah, it's still 1-0 to Nice, half time. And yeah, Biereth missed a penalty in the 4th minute. If he scored that, it probably would have been 1-1. Getting rid of Biereth was... Yeah, that was one of the dumbest decisions. One of the dumbest decisions I have seen in recent times. Because we already don't have strikers and we get rid of a striker who does nothing. Nketiah did less than that and didn't get a chance. Balogun as well didn't get a chance. And Oyedeji as well, sitting on the bench, also doesn't get a chance. So that is the big thing. Even if we sign a striker, what's going to happen there? That is the big question. Biereth could have been banging in goals. Actually, Biereth could have actually... I 100% can guarantee you, given the Havertz injury right now, given the situations and everything, right? I think Mika Biereth, in all comps, I'm talking all comps, right? Could have easily scored 10-15 goals, given the situations and the chances we created. Especially in the times that we needed a proper striker, in situations where we should have had a proper striker and he didn't, and we just had someone there like Merino or Havertz and they just missed everything. I strongly believe that if we had Mika Biereth, he definitely would have scored about 10-15 goals in all comps this season. 100%. That is the biggest issue with this. Copium, but 2-1 at Emirates and 1-1 at Bernabeu. I'm not gonna lie, I potentially can see 2-1 at Emirates. I can see that. Arsenal winning at Emirates, I can see that. At Bernabeu, that place is like genuinely a magical place where you definitely... everything will go haywire, because if you want definition of aura, and we are not talking about Calafiori's hair and modeling his bikinis and onesies and speedos and all this crap Arsenal do, right? This is the big thing. Bernabeu has different type of aura. By the way, speaking of Arsenal, have you all seen this? Have you all seen this? Because this is utterly embarrassing. Where is it? I was yesterday in group chats. This was insane topic. This was an insane topic. Where is it? Wait, I don't want to get copyright struck. Where is it? I think Troops tweeted that as well. Big up Troops, by the way. Big up Troops, my guy. This one. Have you seen this? It's actually a tweet from Arsenal. Wait, I'm gonna see it. Wait, I think he tweet. I've seen the tweet somewhere. I've seen the tweet. Yeah. This is the tweet. This is the tweet. You see, it all started with this, with that one story, and now all of a sudden Arsenal are doing this. there is actually dating Arsenal happening. Like what the, like actually what the, reality 1-0, Emirates 2-0. Yeah, for me San Siro has the most, or it could be. Yeah, basically it's Arsenal Love Island. Like what the hell is this club doing? Match days at Emirates stadiums are a time to connect with the beautiful game and each other. It's it's for this reason that we are launching a new dating show, by the way, that celebrates how shared love of football can prove a catalyst for an even deeper romance. We're all calling on our single supporters in the UK to apply to be a part of the production, which will involve attending a blind date with a fellow Gooner centered around an Arsenal game. If you'd like to be a participant and are up for the opportunity of meeting your perfect match, please submit your application below. This is genuinely Arsenal's version of Are You the One? Or Arsenal Love Island. Arsenal Shore. What else is there? Pop the Balloon or some crap like that that's out there. Like, what is... Like, I saw that yesterday and I almost punched my monitor when I read it. It's actually just... What? To ultimate level. I didn't see... Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I didn't have time. I didn't see it. But I'm gonna watch it at some point. I'm gonna... I need some... I have some catching up to do. Let's just put it that way. We signed Calafiori and L'Oreal are sponsors now. Exactly, we signed Calafiori. Generally, the Calafiori and Merino, both of them have the jawline and the face structure to be genuinely fashion models. It's Arsenal Fashion Week. That's what it is all about with all the merch. Football as a game is a terrible place to have a first date. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, that I would agree. Like, that could be the case. Like, if you both love football, it might not be the most terrible place to go. I'm not gonna say, like, especially if you support the same team. But I much rather go to a restaurant, a cinema, or cook even myself, right? And it comes to me, or we go somewhere together, right? I much rather do that than basically go to the Emirates, watch football game, and listen to some drunk fool next to me say that Odegaard is the best thing since Kaká. Basically, or I'd rather not punch him in the face. Then I hear someone say fuck off and everything and all this crap is going on. Top Gooners are starting punching up Arteta out and everything. Why would I want to bring a date to that? Like, serious talk, why? Like, where does that make sense? Like, exactly, and getting fleeced by food prices. The food prices at Emirates are also staggering. Wait, I think it is, wait. Why? What? Here it is. Food prices at Emirates Stadium. Where is it? Here we go. These are the food prices. Hot dog and a beer, £11 almost. Coffee and a chocolate bar, £4.20. Hot dog and a hot soft drink, £8.50 nearly. Bottle of water plus a hot dog is £12 at the Emirates. Like, what are we doing here? £8 water basically. Every player we sign seems that's what it is these days. It started with Bellerin and fashion weeks and planting trees, and now we are now down to this. Mbappe, we have to collect. Imagine if you are there and some top gunner tells you to sit down and... Exactly, and that is the case. Imagine you go on a blind date with a girl or a guy, whoever, not judging on all that stuff, right? And you are Arteta out and that other person is Arteta in, for example. Imagine the sheer awkwardness in that date when this topic comes up, for example. Imagine. Can you imagine? Genuinely. It's like, for example, imagine the mentality of Arteta out, of Lee Gunner, of Northside, right? There's a guy with that. And then you go on a date with a guy or a girl who has the mentality of Arteta in, of Igal, for example. Or Ty, or Julian. And imagine those two type of people go on a blind date. With those type of mentalities regarding Mikel Arteta. Can you imagine the day they're gonna have? Like, seriously. Can you imagine how that would go? Like, that would be just... Exactly. Just imagine. Imagine your date gets hit in the face by Martinelli's shot. Or Party just skies aiming at a pigeon or something. If I go on a blind date with a girl and she's an Arterelt, I might... Straight shooter, you know. That would be actually kind of nuts if you ask me. Imagine Nathan Pepper just proposes on the spot. That actually would be kind of nuts. He's trying to... yeah, face. And then he gets hit in the face by that would be out of this world if that happened. But yeah, this layer yesterday absolutely destroyed me. That was something that I never thought I would see, but it came to light, and it really just... It shouldn't bother me as much, but given the state of Arsenal currently, how they're screwing things up, how there's more merge than we are actually... There's more merge than we have wins in the league and everything. It's actually kind of nuts if you ask me. By the way, Real Madrid 2-2. Real Madrid 2-2 against Leganes. Bellingham scored 2-2. Just saying it right now, putting it out there right now. 2-2. If the girl is your dreams and she gets knocked out by Martinelli, dude, imagine you find love of your life. And everything is perfect. You bring her to a game, and basically he gets mashed in the face with Parties or Martinelli's or Odegaard's mishit shot. Imagine. Holy crap. Anyways, I think on that note, we have covered everything. Good, bad, funny, and everything. I think I'm gonna end the stream. If you haven't already, by the way, smash the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new around here. Hit the like button. Leave your thoughts down in comments below. Have a nice evening. Have a nice Saturday. Enjoy it. True, Odegaard doesn't have that much power, I'm not gonna lie. He wouldn't even hit that high. But it is what it is, I guess. Big up Pepper, big up Marlon, big up Nathan, big up everyone who dropped by. Take care, stay safe, have a nice evening, enjoy football, enjoy everything. And basically, let's wait for April 1st when Arsenal play. Might be pain then again. Anyways.